Roadhouse is directed by Doug Liman and stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Daniela Melchior, Conor McGregor, Billy Magnussen, Jessica Williams, and a couple other people. And so let's just get right into it.
Before we start, do you have insurance?
What?
Your coverage good? Like, you have dental?
Oh, haha.
Is there a hospital nearby? Is it, like, too far?
About like 25 minutes, I'd say.
I just slapped you. Are you all right?
I think it's really important to be transparent here and say that, I've watched the original Roadhouse. I was a kid. Like, my mom was obsessed with that movie. I don't have any massive connections to that movie. I have not watched it in a very long time. So I pretty much, for all intents and purposes, watch this with fresh eyes. I like this movie a lot. Is it a great movie? Absolutely not. But it is absolutely a movie that is enjoyable. There's a lot of entertainment value here. And, for that purpose, I think this would have made a lot of money at the box office. I don't know why Amazon decided to not release this in the theaters. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. This movie follows an ex-UFC fighter named Dalton, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. My man's is just down on his luck and just going from place to place trying to find jobs. And, he was approached to being a bouncer in the Florida Keys and things ensue and he gets down there. So let's get into it. Star Jake Gyllenhaal. I think Jake Gyllenhaal really plays this character of Dalton really well. Dalton is a guy that, has some traumatic history with his previous job. And, you're not really clued in on that until later in the film. And I think he plays this mysterious, quiet, calm, meticulous guy really well. And you can tell just beneath the layer of his personality, there's something dark there that's brooding. And I think Jake Gyllenhaal really knocks that out of the park. One of my favorite performances of his as of late. Obviously not his best, but really, really, really good. The movie really rests on his shoulders, and I think Jake Gyllenhaal's quiet performance really, really works. Daniela Melchior. So I really liked her in Suicide Squad. She sadly, I want her to have more work, by the way. She sadly, I don't know. She's good in this. She's not bad or anything. I don't know that she has a lot to do in this movie. And it feels like she is just a character to get another character to a point in the movie. And I don't like that as a character device, but she's really good. I want her in more things. Please cast her in more things. Conor McGregor. Okay, so this is a hot topic. There are certain actors that are good for one role. My wife is a musician and she believes that all singers, everyone can sing some song, right? It doesn't matter what it is. You might not be the greatest singer, but you can sing something. Something is going to be in a tune. I think that's Conor McGregor in this movie. I think he's really good. I think he plays this unhinged maniac. And maybe it's just Conor McGregor being Conor McGregor, but it works in this movie specifically. And I really dug that personally. I don't know if he works in anything else, but he played unhinged really well in this movie. And that, again, might be just Conor McGregor. I wouldn't be shocked. Jessica Williams. So she plays the owner of the Roadhouse. And I think she's serviceable. I liked her a lot. Sadly, I feel like she's not in the movie as much as you think she would be in the movie, which is kind of strange. But she's really good in the scenes that she's in. And I think her and Jake Gyllenhaal really have a pretty good dynamic going on. And you really buy their relationship. Let's talk about Billy Magnussen. He is the scum of the earth. He's very similar to my man's Josh Hutcherson in The Beekeeper. He's just the worst type of nepotism that there is. He is really good at being really bad. And you just hate him. He's just scum, and you're excited to see Jake Gyllenhaal go up against him. And that's what his character is for. And you really buy it. So let's get into the Doug Liman, the Amazon, the movie thing. So Doug Liman, I think, directs a pretty good, entertaining action movie. Is it a Roadhouse remake? I can't convince you of that. I don't believe that, because I do think the original, from what I remember, really follows the bouncer life pretty narrowly. It really focuses on that mysterious mystique of that character that Patrick Swayze plays. This movie does it follows Jake Gyllenhaal's Dalton for sure, but it doesn't it feels like the bouncer side of the storyline is kind of sidelined. And I think I can see how that's a turnoff. It's not a turnoff for me though. I found a lot of entertainment in just watching the movie, finding out what Dalton was going to do next, how Dalton was going to react to X, and what they were going to do to Dalton to get him to react, right? That was pretty much the storyline of this movie. And it worked. Like, I feel like the animosity between Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor's Dalton and Knox, I thought that really worked. And then the animosity between Dalton and Ben Brandt, which is Billy Magnussen's character, I really bought all of that conflict. If that doesn't work for you, maybe the movie doesn't work for you. But, you know, I feel like if you're going, like, there's two sides of this. Like, if you're going to make a remake, do you want them just to make a faithful remake, or do you want them to make something different? And this is something different, and I'm okay with that. So let's talk about the Amazon of it all. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like a bad idea to me, just one, in bad faith. Like, I don't know the full story behind this. Like, maybe, like, there's all kinds of different story articles out there saying X and Y and Z and A. Like, none of it all lines up correctly. But what I would say is this feels like a movie that you would watch in theaters. Like, you got your bucket of popcorn and your drink and you're watching on the big screen. This feels like that. And I'm sad that I don't get to experience that. I can tell you that from my perspective. So Doug Liman does some really interesting things in this movie with the camera specifically. And some of it's not going to work for some people and some of it's going to really work. Fortunately enough for me, it really worked. I really loved some of the first person stuff they did in this movie. I feel like Doug Liman was definitely pushing the envelope with some of these things. And personally, I was a fan. Now, granted, you can certainly see where they're pushing the envelope on things. But anything that like that, like for instance, George Lucas, right? Like when he made The Phantom Menace back in, I believe it was 99. I don't know how good it looked then. I know how good it looks now. And so what I would say is sometimes groundbreaking things don't always look perfect. But if this means we're going there, like, that's exciting to me, and just from a filmmaking perspective. It really worked. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you see it. You might not like it though, but I think it's really cool. It really puts you in an environment. It really makes you feel the visceral nature of some of the fight choreography. Really works for me. And by the way, the fight choreography is brutal in this movie. They don't hold punches, and I mean that literally. Really great stuff though. I like this movie a lot. Is it a great movie? Absolutely not. But is it entertaining? Absolutely. This should have been seen on the big screen there in the middle of the summer. And I will agree with Doug there. What did you think? If you've seen it, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment sections. And like always, please like, subscribe. It helps the algorithm. I am super thankful. I'm having a great time making these things. Let me know what your most anticipated movies of the year are. If you've seen this movie, let me know what you think of this movie. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Adios.